Hey, I'm Matt McClellan, owner and operator of McClellan Guitars here in Pendleton, South Carolina.
Well, let's trace that story first. How did you get to Pendleton?
I married my wife, who her family's originally from Pendleton, and I mean we're talking 1800s. She grew up in Atlanta, but after we were married in 2008, I think 2010, we moved up here from Charleston. Her folks were here, her grandparents were here, and we were just looking for a kind of a slower pace of life, you know, and Pendleton really grew on us. So life just kind of led us here, but it's really worked out. We can't really imagine being somewhere else right now, raising our kids and all. It's a good place to be.
And this building plays into that history too, right?
Yeah, it absolutely does. This building was originally in my wife's family. I don't know the time frame of all this, but at some point her grandmother sold it to the Durham family, who had a garage here for many years. When they outgrew this building and had it up for rent or sale, I actually looked at renting it and I was like, there was no way I could afford it. My in-laws are incredible people. They love me like a son, and they kind of pitched the idea, what if we helped you get in that building? So here I am 14 years later, I think. I have rent the whole building from them, very generously on their end. My wife's family is originally the McClellan family. Her grandparents were Charlie and Joy McClellan. They lived in the Sitton House, which was built in 1859 by John B. Sitton. That's kind of how her folks, who lived and had most of their professional lives in Atlanta, that's kind of how they ended up in Pendleton. When her grandparents were getting older, needing a little bit of help, her father-in-law left the head coach position at Georgia State and came to be a tennis coach at Clemson, and they moved in with his folks into that house and really helped take care of them. Ended up inheriting the house. That's actually how we moved up here. They had moved out of a house they lived in. We were kind of wanted a change and didn't really know what we wanted exactly, and they said, we have a house that will be renting or selling if you guys are interested in making a change. And I keep my nose to the grindstone and try to make it work. From the beginning, I was doing high-end cabinetry and furniture in here, some antique refinishing for the Historical Foundation. But music and luthiery has always been my passion. And so I was playing in a couple string bands and stuff, and I wanted to upgrade my guitar. After playing some higher-end guitars and being pretty underwhelmed by them, I said, let me take a step back and think about putting the money into the tools that it takes to build acoustic guitars, because I was not tooled up to do that. I was building a few electric guitars as a hobby on the side. And so I built this guitar. This is number one in the shop here, and it took off. I was playing it a lot and on stage and stuff, and just kind of being connected in the local music scene. Man, it got some traction. People are like, this is a really cool sounding playing guitar. I commissioned a few more for friends. Pretty sure I lost money on those deals, but after about a half a dozen acoustic guitars, I realized I'm barking up the right tree. I'm consistently building good sounding playing guitars. Structurally, they're all there. And so I kind of started shifting gears, putting the word out to my friends in the music community that I do repairs and things like that. Commissioned a few more guitars here and there. And really, just my wife has huge support, saying, this is what you've always been passionate about, do it, just go for it. And so it's just kind of snowballed, really. It's kind of evolved. And I started doing less and less cabinetry and furniture, stopped doing refinishing altogether, building more and more guitars. And finally, I just said, I can't keep pulling off to do cabinets and furniture. This is what I'm made to do. And so here I am. Really, I think that was about 6 years ago when I built that guitar, and in 2020 I really shifted gears, and in 21 I just kind of took the leap of faith and said, all I'm doing is guitars. So here we are. I'm currently building my 69th guitar. I've got the wood set out to build number 70, and I'm actually using local woods for that, well, indigenous to the United States, which is pretty cool. So it's a maple and western red cedar. They're great tone woods, and looking forward to making that guitar.
What kind of feedback are you getting from the players who are using your guitars?
Excellent feedback, really am. That's part of that drives me. People are so excited about their guitars that they're getting. They're upgrading from other guitars that are nice guitars, but just my guitars are known for exceptional playability set up around the player's needs. That's the first thing when we build a custom guitar. We talk about what are you looking for out of a guitar, and we try to deliver on that. So set up for a player's needs, tonally, they're going to sound amazing. And we're looking for a well-balanced tone so it doesn't get really busy or muddy, but plenty of projection and sustain still. So a lot of power but clarity. And you know, it's an art. The guys that have been doing it for longer than I've been alive, I just like to shut up and listen to them because you can learn so much. I've got a lifetime of woodworking under my belt. Granted, I'm only 40, but I have done it my whole life, and so I really feel like that gave me a leg up in luthiery school when I went there and graduated in 2006, I think. I was already really familiar with a wood shop and all the tools, and I understood a lot about wood, grain orientation, all of that kind of thing. So, and have been playing guitar since I was 10, and so joining those two, it was meant to be, I think.
I know it's a broad question because there are different styles, different sizes, but roughly how long would it take you to make a guitar if somebody commissioned you to do it? My
average is about 140 hours in an acoustic guitar. Can certainly have a few more hours in there, rarely have less. Really, finish work takes a long time, and so when I'm doing something like these guitars have a very high gloss lacquer finish, it takes a long time to achieve that. And everything is done in-house from scratch, from chunks of wood. So yeah, I would say 140 hours is a fair average on how many hours I have in an acoustic guitar.
Are you still playing a lot?
Just in here, honestly, between just the family, and we have a bit of a mini farm with goats and chickens and all of that. Between the family and home life and this, I don't know what more I could ask for. I probably should play out more. I get plenty of offers, and that's humbling to me, and I'm grateful. Right now, I'm just kind of staying in this lane and really enjoying what's back inside with a genuine Honduran mahogany neck. We've got an Indian ebony bridge, fingerboard, and head plate. Anyway. We have a lot of spontaneous jams in here. I shouldn't say that. I'm fortunate to play a lot of music in here with just folks that walk in. Sometimes I've never met them before. Sometimes my friend from Nashville came the other day. It's part of it. It's a wonderful part of it.
Pendleton has become more and more of an artist enclave over the last several decades. Do you feel a part of the artist community here?
I do, yeah. I absolutely do. In fact, I never want to go anywhere, so I can kind of be a holdout for that kind of thing. But yeah, Pendleton has exploded in the last 10 years. We've been here for 14 years, I think, 13 or 14. And it's really, it's a lot of growth. I think the folks in charge are trying to do it in the right kind of way, and I think we're expanding on an already great community. And it is very, I've sold a number of guitars just from folks that are new in town walking around the square, and they saw me and said, whoa, handcrafted high-end guitars in Pendleton, wow. So that's definitely been working out for me too. The guitar that I built for me, this one is really designed for playing bluegrass. I was in a string band. It's designed for a lot of volume and projection and to kind of compete with a banjo because banjos are loud. And now, more often than not, I'm building smaller guitars. These are triple O guitars with a 12-fret joint, and then this is an orchestra model or an OM guitar. They're both smaller body. They still have a surprising amount of projection and sustain with a lot of balance. So they're a little more focused tonally than a dreadnought, which has a lot more headroom and can get a little bit busy, especially in a recording situation. But just from a singer-songwriter standpoint, and now that we have things like electronics, which are very easy to amplify a small guitars are kind of all the rave again, and that's what, really the orchestra model is what I'm building most of now. And it's a really a fun guitar. But to answer your question, the first guitars I were building were larger, kind of bluegrass string band geared guitars, which are dreadnought guitars. And they were invented, I believe in 1914 by C.F. Martin for that reason. String bands had become popular up until that point. Guitars had been smaller guitars. You've probably heard of them referred to as parlor guitars. So they needed guitars, didn't have amplification back then, and they needed bigger sound. And so that's how the Dreadnought was created in, I think, 1914. So you tap tune at the top. So
Nice.
So you hold it in different places very lightly. Now that's ringing like a bell. And so what I'm shooting for is kind of a wide range of different tones. I don't try to tune my tops to a certain pitch or anything like that. I'm not that good. Definitely flexing the tone bars, seeing how they kind of spring, how much movement they have and how they spring back. And then listening to you want a wide range of different tones that sound musical and have good sustaining. Bars like this, you want them to ring at different frequencies. If they're at the same frequency, they'll actually kind of cancel each other out. So that's why just the different tones. Pay attention to where, what's sounding like where. Anyway, it's really a great sound top. It's going to make a good guitar. This is number 69.
And you said people just wander in sometime when it's busy in town. How else can people find out about what else is going on?
Most of my business is online. Believe it or not, social media, which is not my bag, but man, it works for business. And so people follow my work. And I've got guitars in New Jersey and Virginia and Alabama and Kentucky and plenty in the lower part of the state where I'm from. Nashville, got a few guitars in Nashville. So really, I have a really good friend down in Columbia who's a collector. I built a guitar for him, which is actually here today. It's this mahogany slope shoulder guitar. He reached out with very specific, this is what I'm looking for, been following your work a little bit, willing to take a chance on you, because he knows a lot about nice guitars. As I was building that guitar, unbeknownst to me, he was kind of posting pictures on Facebook and sending to some of his friends. So I've since built some guitars for other friends of his, like the guy in New Jersey I've built a couple guitars for. Word of mouth has been huge, just word of mouth on social media and locally in the music scene. And now I'm pretty sure my name is one of the first to pop up when people need something repaired. There's a guy, Mike Weems, down in the lower part of Anderson, who has a lot of experience on me in the repair world. I send a lot of repair his way just because he knows more than I do about it. And really, building is my focus. But I do find that repairing guitars keeps me sharp. It teaches me about what's working and what doesn't work with guitars, issues that I see repeatedly in some considered high-end guitars and things like that. And it also helps keep this place open.